Vào chiều ngày 9 tháng 11 năm 2011, Hội Quân nhân người Mỹ gốc Việt đã tổ chức một buổi sinh hoạt tại nhà hàng China Garden ở Rosslyn, Virginia với chương trình như sau. Thứ nhất, giới thiệu Hội Quân nhân người Mỹ gốc Việt với cộng đồng người Việt vùng Hoa Tỉnh Đốn. Thứ hai, ghi quỹ thường niên cho quỹ học bổng có tên là Học bổng vinh danh anh hùng tử sĩ, nhằm vinh danh các chiến sĩ người Mỹ gốc Việt đã hy sinh vì lý tưởng tự do và bảo vệ quốc gia Hoa Kỳ trong cuộc chiến chống khủng bố. Hội sẽ trao tặng 13 học bổng cho những sinh viên gốc Việt ưu tú tại Hoa Kỳ nhằm khuyến khích về vấn đề học vấn và có ý thức phục vụ cộng đồng sau khi thành đạt. Thứ ba, để tưởng niệm 10 năm sau ngày đau thương 11 tháng 9 và để tri ân những quân nhân và cựu chiến binh người Mỹ gốc Việt đã và đang chiến đấu chống khủng bố để bảo vệ tự do trên khắp thế giới. Sau hết là để vinh danh và cảm ơn thủy thủ đoàn của khu trục hạm USS Kurt đã cứu giúp những người Việt Nam tị nạn cộng sản 36 năm về trước.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the ragged lands, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Shoulder, arm, 2, 1 time, 1. Inhale, 1. Forward, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the presentation of the Vietnamese Heritage Anthem.
Kính thưa quý vị, và bây giờ là lễ chào cờ Việt Nam.
As you entered the restaurant, you may have noticed a small table set in a place of honor. It is set for one. This table is our way of symbolizing the fact that members of our profession of arms are missing from our presence.
Khi quý vị bước vào buổi lễ hôm nay, ở đây có một bàn nho nhỏ được trưng bày danh dự cho một quân nhân. Đó là biểu hiện cho những anh em đã hy sinh vì lý tưởng tự do của chúng ta.
They are commonly referred to as POWs or MIAs. We call them brothers. They are unable to be with us this evening, and so we remember them. This table set for one is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his oppressors. Remember. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. Remember.
Tấm vải bàn là màu trắng, được biểu hiện cho sự trong trắng của ý chí và tiếng gọi của quê hương. Xin hãy nhớ.
The single red rose, displayed in a vase, reminds us of the families and loved ones of our comrades in arms who keep faith awaiting their return. Remember.
Xin hãy nhớ. The red ribbon tied so prominently on the vase is reminiscent of the red ribbon worn on the table and press of thousands who bear witness to the unyielding determination to demand a proper accounting of our missing. Remember.
The candle. The candle is lit, symbolizing the upward reach of their unconquerable spirit. Remember.
A slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of the bitter fate. Remember.
There is salt upon the bread plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they wait. Remember.
The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us this night. Remember.
The chair. The chair is empty. They are not here. Remember.
Remember, all of you who serve with them and call them comrades, who depend upon their might and aid and relied upon them, but surely they have not forsaken you. Remember.
Remember until the day they come home. Remember.
Let us remember the soldiers of the Army.
Let us remember the Marines of the Marine Corps.
Let us remember the sailors of the Navy.
Let us remember the airmen of the Air Force.
Let us remember the Coast Guardsmen of the Coast Guard. Let us remember our fallen heroes, for they are unable to be with their loved ones and families tonight. So we join them
together to pay our humble tribute to them
and bear witness to their continued absence and sacrifice.
You may now take your seats, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can focus on the screen, this is a tribute to our fallen heroes. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a little bit of silence for the following heroes? Thank you. Xin kính thưa quý vị, hãy giữ im lặng một phút để tưởng nhớ những chiến sĩ đã hy sinh.
At this time, we would like to remember why we have selected this date to come together. Our fellow Americans, and indeed the world, have spent this day reflecting on how tragedy unfolded because of the hatred of a few, and yet how unity and strength emerged because of the patriotism of many.
Xin quý vị hãy để dành một phút mặc niệm để tưởng nhớ tại sao chúng ta chọn ngày hôm nay. 9/11 là một ngày tang thương vì sự hận thù của một thiểu số. Nhưng trong đoàn kết, sức mạnh của chúng ta đều được thể hiện vì lòng yêu nước của tất cả và vì những quân nhân Việt Mỹ và những đồng bào Mỹ gốc Việt hôm nay.
There are people in this audience who have a direct connection to 9/11. One of whom has agreed to share his story is Dr. Yung Nguyen, Colonel, U.S. Army, retired. Dr. Yung, can you please stand?
Thank you for the invitation. On 9/11, I was treating patients at the Andrew Rader Clinic at Fort Myers. For those who do not know where is Fort Myers, Fort Myers is the home of the Old Guard and is by the National Arlington Cemetery and about 1 mile from the Pentagon. On that day, I was passing by the waiting room of the clinic and I saw a plane hitting the World Trade Center on TV. I thought at that time it was maybe an accident. But a few minutes later, a second plane hit again the second tower. My first reaction was, this was terrible. I couldn't imagine that it can happen in America. A few minutes later, I heard a thump. Then the speaker of the clinic announced that the Pentagon was hit. So I told my nurse to take care of my patients, and I ran to the Pentagon. At the Pentagon, when I approached the periphery of the Pentagon, an ambulance medic gave me a yellow jacket. I readily put it on. I thought that everybody has to wear something to go to that place. I didn't realize later it was a yellow jacket with senior physician on. So we start to treat patients, mostly wound care, smoke inhalation, and burns patients. We are so busy that we didn't know that there's one Vietnamese contract doing through that at the Pentagon also.
Well, good evening. It's a great pleasure to be here with you tonight, and I bring greetings to all of you from Virginia Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli. And as mentioned, my name is Rich Nelson. Like some of you here tonight, I'm sure, I'm a first-generation American, the first in my family born in the United States and the first in my family educated in this country. I'm also a small business owner in Fairfax County and a United States Navy veteran. During my time in the military, I served in naval intelligence and as a JAG officer, and I salute my fellow veterans here tonight. I've been to many Vietnamese community events around Northern Virginia over the last 2 years representing our Attorney General, and it's an honor to represent him again at this wonderful event tonight. I want to thank the organizing committee for your hard work putting this together. Could we give them a hand, please? And I'll offer a warm welcome from Attorney General Cuccinelli to the special attendees here tonight, including Vietnamese American military veterans, USS Kirk Association, Gold Star families, and government and community leaders. It's an honor to be here with you all. And congratulations to those receiving awards in recognition for leadership, appreciation, courage and hope, and the Young Leader Award. Now to all veterans here this evening, on behalf of Ken Cuccinelli, thank you for your military service, and thank you for defending liberty and freedom.
It's a tremendous honor to be here tonight, and as you already saw from the program so far, this is a very momentous occasion for all of us. Commemorating the 10th anniversary is something that none of us ever wished had happened, but the reality is, here we are. And so today, like so many of you in this room, I spent most of the day going to different commemoration events throughout Fairfax County and Northern Virginia, trying to think about what 9/11 means and why it happened and where we are today and what it means for us. Now, obviously, nobody can really tell you what the lessons of 9/11 is because it's such a personal thing as well as a national tragedy. But to the extent that I look around this room tonight and I see so many people here gathered on a Sunday night on 9/11 to support a cause like this, I think this clearly is one meaning of 9/11, which is the idea that people can come together, find worthy causes, find something that's above and beyond themselves, look for opportunities where we can make a difference today, because we're the ones that are left behind. We're still here today. That our lives are precious, but it's only precious because we're able to do that and give something back in return. And so tonight, as we commemorate this momentous day, and as we gather here for this very worthy cause of remembering the 13 fallen Vietnamese American heroes, and thinking about how we live their legacy by having scholarships for new students.
Kính thưa các bậc trưởng thượng, kính thưa các anh hùng quân nhân cán chính của quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa và Hoa Kỳ. Cháu tên là Bùi Minh Triết, thiếu tá quân y hiện đang phục vụ tại California. Xin thay mặt các anh em trong hội người Mỹ gốc Việt ở trong quân lực Hoa Kỳ đã cảm ơn sự đón tiếp, nằm hậu và ủng hộ thật nhiều của trong chương trình hôm ngày hôm nay. Cháu được may mắn sinh ra và lớn lên trong Việt Nam trước năm 75. Tuy lúc còn nhỏ nhưng mà cháu cũng biết rằng những anh hùng quân nhân cán chính của quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa và Hoa Kỳ đã kéo cho dân chủ của đất nước Việt Nam. Tục ngữ Việt Nam có câu uống nước nhớ nguồn, ăn trái nhớ kẻ trồng cây. Cháu xin cảm ơn tất cả những anh hùng quân nhân cán chính của quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa và Hoa Kỳ đã hy sinh cho đất nước Việt Nam, cũng giống như 13 anh em quân nhân người Mỹ gốc Việt đã hy sinh tại chiến trường Iraq và Afghan để cho chúng ta có được cuộc sống ngày hôm nay, để chúng ta có thể thực hiện những hoài bão và ước mơ của mình. Xin chân thành cảm tạ.
555 983 đúng rồi. Xin cô tên gì?
Đặng Thị Thu Cúc.
Thưa cô Cúc, cái lý do nào mà cô Cúc tới đây tham dự với tụi cháu hôm nay? what is her reason for being here tonight? She will tell you.
Cái lý do là cháu của tôi đó là Lê Ngọc Bình, nó tử trận ở chiến trường Iraq.
Miss Cook here, she's actually is Corporal Bin Lay's aunt, and the story actually goes deeper than that. Basically, she's his adopted mother, and tonight we're honored to have her entire family here to be with us and to remember Brother Bin Lay's memories. Thank you so much, Cook. Thank you. All right, friends, our next item we're going to raffle off will be the ball cap for the U.S. Lassen. This ball cap, as I said before, is very meaningful because of the fact that it is from the ship, the first United States warship to sail back to Vietnam after 35 years. In addition to that, at this time I'd like to ask for a young man in the crowd by the name of Michael Foster. Is he here, please? Michael? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. So where do you hail from?
Decorah, Iowa.
So why are you here?
I'm here to tell the story of the USS Kirk.
And you'll hear more about that shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Michael. 38074. Very good. And what's your name, young man?
Cameron.
And Cameron, we're very glad you're here tonight. And we'll surprise the guests more about why you're here later, okay? Thank you, brother. Here you go. Yeah. Thank you.
Về funding the scholarship cho những người anh hùng tử sĩ, người Mỹ gốc Việt mà đã đi chiến trận ở Iraq và Afghanistan. Và phần nữa là mình cảm ơn USS Kirk. So I would like to ask Captain Jacob, a General Hero, David Tisson, and anyone of the crew member of the USS Kirk, please stand up. And we pay the respect for them.
Or some sort of honoraries to someone just with their names. But Captain Jacobs was there. So I want him to be able to talk to us, to let us know about the courage and heroism of each one of our awardees tonight. Thank you, sir. So Captain Jacobs, please give us a little bit about how everything happened on that fateful day in 1975 and all the people who you touched so much with all your actions.
Thank you very much. Operation Frequent Wind, which is the rescue of the Saigon and getting the people out there out by helicopter, was on the 29th and 30th of April. And during those 2 days, we took 13 Hueys on board and pushed them over the side so we could make room to have an open deck. One of those Hueys didn't make it.
Mr. Jan Herman, please come forward. Thank you so much, sir, for your efforts. And also Mr. Thomas Webster. Please come forward.
I want to thank you all very much for being here this evening. I have to say that it was an honor to be able to tell the story of the USS Kirk and the Lucky Few. It all began with an email that went out when I was writing a book on the Navy Medicine's participation in the Vietnam War. And I wanted to know what the last chapter was like. And in wanting to interview the medical people, so on behalf of Vice Admiral Adam Robinson, the Surgeon General of the Navy, who could not be here tonight, I want to thank
all the crew members of the USS Kirk, and certainly my dear friend over here, Captain Paul Jacobs.
Nếu mà quý vị khán giả mà không biết cái cậu bé một người Mỹ tên là Michael Foster, thì cậu bé có present cái cuốn phim The US Kirk cho President Obama.
I don't know much Vietnamese, but I've been working on trying to say this. So, Sun Chao Vive. Sun Chao Vive. A hero is a person who has the strength to endure and persevere in spite of overwhelming obstacles. This quote by Christopher Reeve perfectly describes the men of the USS Kirk. Let me introduce myself. My name's Michael Foster. I'm 14 and from Decorah, Iowa. I first learned the story of the USS Kirk through National Public Radio. At the time, I was searching for a project to do through NHD, National History Day, and I found the story of the USS Kirk, as I said, through National Public Radio. As I began to research it, it became more than a project. I realized that the world needed to know what these men had done, and they needed to receive the honor they deserved. Over the last few months, I've talked to many of these crew members and refugees, and to them, this was life or death, an abrupt ending or a new beginning. And these men need to be honored for what they've done.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Dr. Okay, thank you, Dr. Kim Won.